All right, we are here. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 119, Red. And we're back with our Black Business Series. And our special guest tonight is Mr. Mark Johnson of M.A.J. Company LLC. Uh-oh. Is that me with that go? Somebody got that go. All right, welcome to the show, Mark. What's good, bro? There we go.
What's happening, y'all? Yeah, I did hear a slight echo. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man, nothing much, man. We're just trying to get through it. We normally on Thursday, so we missing out a couple of days of prep, but here we are on a Tuesday, getting ready for this Thanksgiving. CB, Rich, what's good with you?
Hey, man. Switching it up this week, but still happy to be with the fellas. Excited to talk to Mark, see what he's got going on, and I'm always looking forward to For the Soul at the end.
Oh yeah. E, what's good, bro?
Oh man, me trying to get these hours in just because the holidays is happening over here in the States don't mean nothing overseas. So they got me working crazy. So.
Bet I got you. Yeah, man. It's a short week, but it feels like today was like super, super, super long. Like, I mean, I got tied up with a couple of things today. CB, I kind of shared that with you what was going on, but we'll talk about that off camera because I don't know who's watching, who's not watching. But
don't want to incriminate yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's been a good day. But I'm just looking forward to Thanksgiving. Just getting some time off and just kind of just relaxing, man. Just trying to get there. Anybody got any Black Friday deals they're trying to get to?
Nah, man, it's kind of crazy because at this point in my life, I'm not even looking for specific deals on a Friday. If I see something, just buy it,
Right. I mean, the big deal has always been TVs, right? Everybody's trying to get to Black Friday for TVs, right? Is that still a thing?
I think it is, but I saw something on IG which made a valid point. Like for the last, let's just say 8-9 years, people have been buying TVs every Like, how many TVs do people really have in their house? Like, and does that one TV not last a whole year before you gotta get a new one? Like,
guys, did y'all know that I used to work in the home theater department at Best Buy, and that includes working a Black Friday at a Best Buy. God. And this was 2006. So, people were still camping out. Like this wasn't everything was Amazon Prime and everything yet. You know what I mean? So, literally the TVs that got sold on Black Friday for the Black Friday specials, those TVs were never on the floor any other day of the year. They came out on that day. It's some brand no one had ever heard of. And people were, going goo goo gaga, running through the store trying to buy them up because it was like, oh, you can get a plasma TV for $400. And it's like, oh, shit. And it's like, well, at least at that point in time, technology is even better now. But at that point in time, you got what you paid for. So for the most part, if you bought a cheap TV, that joint probably died. You know what I mean? Like, you probably didn't get the performance out of it that you thought you were going to get.
I mean, how many people ran out and got these curved TVs? Remember that? Or the 3D TVs? Remember that? They were trying to push that hard.
Always trying to find the next big thing.
Everything's going to be 3D soon. You're going to want 3D. And I first of all,
they were doing it with the movies.
First of all, I was going to say that DVDs still come out here and there, but not everything gets a 3D kind of thing when it comes out on DVD. And can you even stream in 3D? Because that's kind of the wave of where everything is going now, is streaming.
Right. They're going to have to give everyone in the metaverse those options.
Right. Well, whatever. I do remember working retail. God, awful retail. So it was 2 times during working retail you did not want to work. One was Black Friday because first of all, so we worked real Black Friday. It wasn't this money hungry. You got to come in at the end of Thanksgiving and work all the way to like 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning next day. No, we got Thanksgiving all the way off, and then Friday the stores open up maybe about 6 o'clock. So you did have to go in a little early, but you didn't have to go in Thanksgiving night. And I think some stores are steered away from that. Like Target did say, we are going to remain closed on Thanksgiving, which is good. But people enjoy their holiday. Like, it's just a money grab. Okay, so retail, like I said, Black Friday and inventory. Inventory sucked ass for sure. And like the places I've worked retail, it's never been an easy inventory because when we were at, I was working at the wholesale club. I won't name which one, but you had to. They had me on freezer like my first couple years. So literally going through every aisle of the freezer and remember wholesale is big bags, boxes, and you're counting that. And then it's just a mess, man. I don't. And then the other one when I was in the shoe department. So now look, being a sneakerhead is cool, and working in shoes and knowing your stuff is cool, but inventorying them bitches is not cool.
I don't think inventory in anything is cool. Like I said, I was at retail, and like you said, inventory days. Good luck trying to call out knowing that there was inventory. Everybody was trying to peep the schedule and trying to ask the manager when I was coming through so they could kind of get that day off because they already knew what it was. But where I was at, not only for inventory, but you also had to build the wall of whatever you opened up that you had to take out. So if it was like the shoes, or of course in my case it was the urban area, of course at that time, then of course you had to build and I'm gonna date myself, put the Rockaware up, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
The M.A.J, the Echo, you got to build the product so people will come and buy it. You know what I mean? So inventory was not only that, but it was the suck part of you having to actually build a wall so that the mannequins would look a certain way. Then the manager had to approve it, Right. Retail sucks when it comes to that part of it. But no, and skip all of that. Let's have a mystery, sneaker app drop on Black Friday or something.
Well,
like that.
It's coming. Something's coming. Something's got to be. Something's lurking. Nike's not going to just have these sales around them and know like the sneaker community is the biggest thing right now and not have a shock drop. By the way, Mark will be right back. He's trying to reconnect. But he'll be here. So with that, let's get straight to it. Let's wrap, fellas. Where are we gonna start? Oh my goodness! Hold on. Let me get right for this. I've been playing around with these green screens here. All right, so, and it's funny, like a lot of this stuff happened in California this week too. So I don't know if E was part of it. I don't know if I saw him on some of these social media posts, but let me get my notes let me get this one correct.
To clarify, he was saying that I was viewing the stories on social media, not a part of the shenanigans.
Well, we don't know. We don't know that. We don't know. We don't know that. You're in Cali. I mean, I don't know. As this one happened, so Friday, an armored truck was driving down the highway, and the back door just flew open, and just money just started just blowing all over the highway. Free money. When's the last time you ever seen money just come to you like that, right? So anyways.
Never happened.
Right. It causes mass traffic jam because people are pulling over and doing what people should do in this situation. I'm going to stop and I'm going to pick up some money, right? People feel entitled to it. It's like finding anything you find at some point. It did belong to somebody at some point, but it's yours now if you found it, right? So I just want to, but first of all, it's very illegal to pick up money that fell off an armored truck. Now, it's so weird. Had this money blown out of somebody's car, it's yours. It's free to take, and there's really no law against that. But the fact that it came out of an armored truck and it was going somewhere, it's illegal. And they want you to they want anybody who was seen picking up money on the highway to turn all their money in. Because if not, they said they got cameras and they're coming after you. Right? There he is. Welcome back, bro. It's all good. All good.
That was crazy. I'm like, of all days, right? But you know,
It's all good, man. Look, man. We could talk for days. We had time to get you back in the house. But yeah, we're talking about the money truck, the armored truck that the doors blew open on the highway in California, where E lives. Right? I don't know how close E was to this, but I've never seen him wear that shirt. This is the first night he's worn this shirt on the show, and it looks fresh. The tag is still on it.
yeah, he might have got some of that.
So we're just talking about now. If this was you, first of all, it's very illegal. They want you to turn the money in, but had this money flown out of somebody's car, it's up for grabs. Not really illegal. It's probably more of a principle thing to give it back to the owner. But the fact that it came out of an armored truck, it's very illegal. It's federal. They want you to give the money back. But if this is you, you're on a highway with 50, 60 other people. And there's just, I don't even know what the currency was. I know it was bills, but I don't know, what level it was. But I'm stopping the grab. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, yeah. CB, we'll start with you. CB, are you gonna do the right thing? Or are you grabbing?
It's hard to say that I would not stop the car, or at least stick my hand out and see how the hand-eye coordination is. But I think the funniest thing about the story is that you had some of the people that were on social media treating this like it was some kind of publicity stunt. Like, someone just dropped all this money on the highway. Like, no one does that. like people don't just, no one's that generous. Not these days. Not out towards LA. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'd probably be out there too. I'm not going to say I'm above all that. $1 is $1, and these sneakers are expensive, bro.
Right. And I mean, they don't know how much you took. You can just hand one bill back and says, here, this is all I took. They can't prove anything else.
But it's a wild story. It's a wild story.
First of all, to clarify, this was in San Diego, about an hour and a half away from where my ass would ever be, right? Understand this, though. No, I wouldn't have done it. One, because it's an armored truck, you know that every bill is identified in that truck. That serial number is gonna pop up. They got that. That's solidified. That's old school. They've been doing that for years. That's how dumb people that rob banks that usually end up spending the same damn money is traced back to them. So, I don't think it was worth it.
Shout out to the other.
I think if you look at it though, because you know what I'm saying, I am from Cali. Outside of the people that were in the front, probably picking up the money, I would have been one of those people that would have been, what the F is this traffic jam about, and why it takes you 3 hours to get home, right? Because people want to pick $2 up, and they're gonna have to return the shit anyway. So more importantly, the people that were in traffic mad because they couldn't grab the money, but two, saying you dumb people for grabbing the money, they're gonna get you anyway. So you gonna go to jail for petty theft compared to, you know what I'm saying, the amount of time that I had to spend in damn traffic. So let's get out of here. No.
Okay. Mark, maybe we'll get the truth out of Mark.
Yeah, so just instinct wise, driving and seeing money fly out, the 99.9% of people are going to stop, at least if you saw it first. Right. I ain't really thinking about how illegal it is at that time. I'm gonna probably be thinking about how much of it I can get, and I figure that out on the back. But I'm not gonna take it to no store or nothing. Nah, so yeah, I mean you'd have to figure out a way to do something with it, but I'm stopping. I'm picking all of that up, and it's not going back. I just got to figure out what to do with it.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things you can do. If you spend the money,
there's so many things.
You spend the money and it comes up.
Hold on. Before we go any further, I think everybody's notion that because it's in the back of an armored truck, that these were 20s, 50s, 100s. These were getting picked up. The armored truck picks up the same amount of money in ones and coins and everything else. All that, they didn't identify the dollar amount on it, so you would have risked all being outside, and then all that shit you was looking at was $1 bills, $5 bills, $20 for the amount of time that you would have tried to pick up some money that you gonna end up having to give back anyway.
Well, I gotta give it back. Can I give it to somebody else at a nice rhythmic place where ladies with daddy issues work at?
I would have definitely
You can
had
do
to
all of
stop,
that.
though, to see. I would have had to stop to at least see what it was. Like if I'm first in line when that thing opened up.
Absolutely.
Now, if it's ones, I don't know if I stick around because, like you said, I mean, you know, by the time you get $30, you know. But if it's, you don't know really what it is. It could have been hundreds, ones, 50s.
So here's my question about the money, right? So how does the money register? So if I take that, so say if it's dollar bills, I take the dollar bill and I go to a casino and I gamble with that money, put it in a slot machine, whatever I do, how are they tracing that money is being processed through that machine at that point in time while you gamble? Because I'm at that point. Go ahead.
You should know better than this. And based upon who your daddy is, you should damn well know that security is way more locked down. If no other place, I would have told you spend this shit anywhere than a casino. Who has better than the money that's tapped into everything that flows in and out of a casino in itself, from the money counters to so many damn cameras in a casino. You don't think that they're tied into the federal or the state money at that?
It could be. I'm just asking questions, right? Because no one's asking questions. You just tell me what you're not going to do. I'm asking the questions of how, if someone decides they're going to take it, what's to stop somebody from taking it and trying to do these things to that money? It didn't fall in DC. It fell in California. So I was nowhere near the money. So they can't look at me. But I'm just asking the questions. What would stop somebody from trying to do this? And look, spending it somewhere or just getting rid of it where it won't get traced back. I mean, that's probably money laundering at some point. I've watched a lot of movies.
I think that's literally money laundering.
Yeah, okay, well, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing more. They definitely, if they didn't find it that day, they'll figure out, you know, that you played it on crap table so and so, and then
they're gonna track you down. I mean,
it didn't happen that day, but yeah,
they're gonna track you down.
You put it in a digital machine, that drink getting scanned. I guess like any other bill would get scanned.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, you know, like I said, it didn't happen in DC, so I don't have to worry about that problem. Yeah. But you know, this is loosely based. This actually happened in real life. So I don't know if you guys. This is a movie a long time ago I seen with John Cusack, Money or Nothing. The same scenario, and it's based off of a real life event that happened. Mm-hmm. And this is way back when. So this is all before internet technology and all that. A bag fell off the armored truck. He found the bag, and the whole movie's about just him spending the money, but then how much greed and evil comes along with possessing that kind of money. I mean, this guy wasn't sleeping because he knew the cops were closing in on him. It was a deep movie, entertaining but super deep. If you haven't seen it, Money or Nothing. So anybody who took the money from the scene in California, take a look at this movie and maybe deter anybody from any other scenes if that happens again. But we know, let's be honest, 80%, 75% of people most of the time, they're in that scenario, depending on the age, they're going to take it and deal with the consequences later. Especially if you live in a community where there's not many opportunities like that come your way.
Yeah. Because that's no different than hitting the street. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going to take a chance.
It's at this point, you better off giving it to the weed man. That's E. What we got? There we go. Nordstrom. Again, out in California. This was San Francisco. I think he told me he was going to San Francisco at some point last week. He kind of dropped off the text for a second. But anyways, San Francisco. Nordstrom. Now, this has happened before, but I don't think to this magnitude. It was 80 people got together and organized like a snatch and run at Nordstrom. And it was mostly high-end purses, things, some watches and stuff like that. But 80 people. And they got away for the most part. I think they only caught 3 people out of the 80. Now, my question is, how do you organize 80 people getting together to go to one store and do this? And everybody, for 80 people, not everybody's getting away with something of value.
Right. And it's 80 people. Wow.
80 people, yeah.
They could have known each other. That had to be like some dark web advertisement or something.
Has to be.
I don't know 80 people that's going wild out like that. That had to be like a secret.
It had to be dark web, right?
It's 344 to so and so, and like there had to be something crazy like that.
Right. E. Again, this is your. What are your people doing out there on your side of the world?
Well, first of all, let's just get this. Let's put this out there. And anybody from Cali that's listening to understand this, the simple fact that up north is definitely down different than SoCal. They a different. They a different type up there. And this was also, I don't know if you're gonna talk about it, but it was orchestrated that they hit different cities along the way. So it was three cities total that they hit with knowing exactly what stores they were gonna go to, right? The thing is, and like I said, I mean, smash and grab has been going on for some time, but like he said, 80 people, first of all, that's the percentage of the people that you have along with that. Somebody's dumbass done already talked about it on their phone or hit the IG with it, and it's only a matter of time before they figure out where all this stuff is at or who these people that are involved. And you already know once you get hit with that one person that gets sent in that room, and it's the first 48. And they big and bad until they hear that number as far as what they gonna get charged with, and everybody and their mama on that list getting texts, like, you know what I'm saying, like, no, it just wasn't me, it was Ray and Pookie and Boo Ray and all of that stuff. So I mean, this has been going on. For me, I'm not beside it, right? I'm not above it all, but whatever happened to like knowing the lick was like on the actual truck, you know what I'm saying, or getting it from the back of the store, you know what I'm saying? When you got somebody that's on the inside that's working there. Like at this point now, it's just like, what's the point of going in there? Because hell, if the goods and services are going to get snatched up like that, especially at these high end stores, it's going to be a recoil of some sort as far as how this is going to be handled going forward, for sure.
Right. But 80 people, dog. Come on, now. That's a lot.
It doesn't seem feasible outside of trying to, like, it's even hard to get 80 people together for a party, Right. So the amount of coordination that went in to this is, if nothing else, pretty impressive, because to mobilize like that many people and for it to be coordinated like that is insane. It's pretty nuts. So you would think it's gotta, like, there's gotta be just a lot of common threads there. You would think it wasn't just like a random group. More so, there's got to be some ties somewhere down the line.
E, what's traffic life out like in San Fran? Is it the same as in LA?
I mean, you talking about just major areas. There's always going to be traffic in a major city, but
because I'm
you're
thinking
talking about
these guys run cars. I mean, and they pull off, they're gonna sit in traffic.
Right.
Again, that's where the story ends. If you realize that when they tell the story, they don't say where all 80 people went. Now, let's be honest. We all been to the mall and know that they got cameras on every corner, right? And then most of those malls, they also have the traffic cameras that are on the streets. You know what I'm saying? So let's just be honest. This is gonna go further into and how big it is. Like, it's almost one of those things where it's like, again, maybe it's just the era. I call it, I'm an 80s baby. So, the whole point of a lick was not to just F it up. Like, you don't go once and then just like dissolve your lick. Like, you use it to where you can go multiple times, and over time, you still able to get the goods. Now it's like that area, you can pretty much just call it a wrap. Like, because you already know everything's going to be on lockdown.
Right. I'm surprised that many people showed up at the same time.
Right. Exactly. That's been the fact, we show up late to a lot of things. But when they come to a crime spree,
people be late to their own funeral. They got 80 people to mobilize for this thing.
That's tough. And the fact that you can do that without sending off any kind of radar to somebody, yeah, that won't happen ever again. Yeah, at least not at that store. All right. Okay, so now we're getting into Thanksgiving, right? And the CDC, they've been all over the news past couple of years, telling you what's good for you and what's not. The CDC came out with a study saying that you shouldn't wash or rinse your turkey before you're cooking it, because rinsing it could get some of the contamination. It could contaminate other foods by washing your turkey. It can just get on your utensils, your countertops, and all that. So don't wash your turkey before you cook it. Now, CDC was pretty good in my book, right? Telling you, what's good for you during the pandemic. Kind of, follow those guidelines. But when it comes to this, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all. I know when, at least and a couple people that I know that always cook chicken wings, they can't clean them enough. Because you see the packs that these things come in, and it sits on top of that nasty kind of thing that absorbs the kind of moisture and leftover.
Little like sponge looking thing.
Exactly. And you're telling me that a turkey that's just wrapped up in just regular old plastic, I can just take it right out and cook it just like that. Season it and cook it. Man, I'm not feeling that. Anybody else feeling that? And does anybody else just not wash their turkey or anything before they cook it?
Nah, I got to.
Yeah, see, I figured most people in the room were gonna look like that. We're like, yeah, nah.
Everything before I
listen. This is one of those. This, you know what this was? This was a trap. This was a trap by the CDC, and I appreciate them for it. Right. Again, I don't really fuck with them based upon the COVID. I'm a little different from you. When they was telling people this shit wasn't airborne, when we knew it really was, even though they didn't want to say it. But let's be honest, this was a trap. This was a trap type situation. This was for us to know the dirty ass people who not to go over their house because they're gonna be like, oh, I ain't never cleaned my shit. See, I can't go over there no more because people definitely online talk about I ain't never cleaned my chicken. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you need that, most of the time you already know. And this is like I said, this is one of those stories to confirm it. But if you think about it, I mean, even if that's just disgusting. Who would want to do that? You're baking at this point. You're baking all the the raw juices. Nah.
Can't do it.
I'm not feeling it. And so is that like a question you should ask everybody when you visit this year? CDC said you're not supposed to wash your turkey, but did you?
Kind of casually bring it up. Did you see that episode? Yeah, see that news story where they was talking about you don't need to wash your bird, and somebody be like, "Oh yeah, I decided to do that this year." All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'll be back. And let's be honest. Look, at this point, go ahead.
If you're gonna ask that question, should you ask ahead of time before you drive all the way over there?
Absolutely, that's a prerequisite. It is. I mean, it should be right.
But Mark, you got that extra house. Nah, but you always got that backup house that you was gonna stop by anyway, so you might just get there a little early. That's all.
Yeah, but they gotta be certain too, because it sounds like you just found out that somebody you thought was cleaning wasn't cleaning. So all 5 could be non-cleaners.
That would be devastating. That would be devastating.
I was telling somebody today, Thanksgiving,
how good each house is. You gotta take one for the team.
Absolutely, and not every house is gonna have everything you like. You gotta go. Sometimes you gotta copy and do puzzle pieces. This person always cooks this good, so I'm gonna go ahead grab that and grab that from this person. That's typically how mine go. But at this point, I'm like, I'm so tired of ham and turkey for Christmas meals, Thanksgiving, Easter. I just over the sides. I think you even brought that up one time. I look forward to the sides at this point at any kind of family functions because there's never any consistency with the turkeys. It's either going to be dry or it's going to be, undercooked sometimes. Ham is ham, unless you tell me you got it from Honey Baked Ham. I'll tell you, Honey Baked Turkey is amazing. If you get it from that Honey Baked Ham store, it's amazing. But I get tired of it. So it's all about sides, really. That's kind of what excites me these years. But all right, we're back. Black Business Series. We haven't had one in a little bit. So, Mark, welcome to the show. Mark Johnson from M.A.J. M.A.J. Company LLC. Officially, welcome to the show, brother. Man, look, we started this thing during the pandemic where we're just trying to track down black businesses that may have been just seeing how they were maneuvering during the pandemic and how things are going on because some people were struggling. But we found out through most of our episodes that we did, like a lot of people were actually prospering during the pandemic. So I'm gonna lead off. My first question is, how did the pandemic affect your business?
So with a lot of live venues being canceled, and kind of getting back into the audio engineering game live, which I've taken a little time away from and just kind of focused on a 9 to 5, it slowed things down drastically. You went from, in some guys' cases, running audio for bands or individual studio sessions, whatever the case may be, several times a week to doing it once or twice a month. And if you're making, let's say on a small scale, $50 a gig, and you're doing 2-3 a day, or you're making $300 a gig doing 2 a day, you might go from making $1,500 to $2,000 a week to making $200-300 a week. And a lot of folks in this industry aren't conditioned to save money either. You're always traveling and moving around. So what you should have saved when you were getting it, it's already gone. So it affected the industry real heavy.
Wow. TV.
Yeah, Mark, could you just give us kind of a rundown of everything that M.A.J is about, everything that you're into?
Yeah, for sure. So the initials M.A.J is just my first, middle, and last name. We're/I, or let me say I/we're, because it's really just me, other than doing installations. I'm an audio consulting company, audio installation company, and live engineering company. I do studio sessions for mixing, as you can see my setup behind me, but I don't record artists anymore. I just pretty much have people send me their files and I mix them. So we can do consultations, whether it be for a nightclub, a studio, a church, a small setup like what we're doing, just conference calls, all the way to a major installation for you to include video walls, lighting, audio systems, different networks, so forth and so on. And that's also what I do during the day as a project manager. So it kind of just merged the two.
So
I guess for those who don't know, like how did you even get involved in it? Like what made you start the business? Was it like a passion for music, or how did you evolve into starting a company?
Got it. So my 6th grade summer, transitioning to 7th grade, I moved from Northeast DC to Fort Washington, Maryland. When I moved here, the younger go-go bands were trying to get into play. And out in Maryland, everybody's parents had money, or more money than some. So it was easy to start a band. You could ask for a drum set and have one tomorrow, and a $2,000 keyboard. It was like, but you couldn't get that, too heavy in the city. So I started playing with a go-go band by the name of Absolute. And we may have been together a year and a half, 2 years, before I got a call from another band that I actually stayed with for a while. The band was called Jigaboo, and the short of that was Jigga. So we took the negative name that, African Americans were portrayed with, and use that as, hey, we're going to have this a band name and try to do something positive with. And, that's pretty much the guys that started it. They went to Oxon Hill High School. So when I finished playing with Absolute, or in the middle of me playing with Absolute, I got the call to play for them. But the call to play for them was like, hey, we doing a show somewhere, and I actually went to check them out. And when I went to check them out, I was like, oh, this is another level of music right here. So then I got the call to play for them, and it was pretty much on since from there. So what happened, the way I got into engineering was, we used to play when I was in 7th, 8th, 9th grade. We used to play with Junkyard, Backyard, Northeast Groovers at the Black Hole or the Ibex or the iBox. And I was a kid. I wasn't even old enough to get in these places. But the reason I started to run sound is because the same sound engineers that would mix us would mix them, but they were the bigger band. And I felt that they made them sound better. It was just that they were better than us as a band. I don't know. But I just, oh man, it doesn't sound like they. So I started going back to the console and like trying to figure out what was what, and staying to shows 2-3 in the morning and going to school the next day to get an idea what was going on. And then I started mixing bands that opened up for us so that they could sound just as good as we did, so they wouldn't have to go through that. Or at least what I thought was that. It could have been all in my head, but I don't believe so. So that's what got me into mixing. And a couple of bands gave me a shot, and I've been on ever since.
Yeah. If you follow Mark on IG,
sound good. I wanted everybody to be able to perform and sound good without saying, "Oh, we playing with XYZ, then we're not gonna sound as good tonight." Or we don't have $300 for their guy. We only had $25 with kids. He's not gonna make us sound as good.
Right. Yeah. Anybody who follows Mark on IG kind of see like he's always working. I mean, which is a great thing. You alluded to something earlier, so it's gonna be kind of a two separate questions I'm gonna ask you. I'll start with the first one. Is you said you don't do recording sessions anymore. What led you away from your recording sessions? Because I know you were at Night Flight, one of the staples in the area. What led you away from that?
So I got tired of sitting there and overdubbing and taking back takes. Maybe I had a bad luck of the draw with artists, and I mean I know that's a part of the business, but
of course,
it seemed excessive. Like when you do that every day over 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, you just constantly stop, record, going back, stop, record, moving hooks. It was a nightmare. Then when you come out of the studio, you're like, yo, I ain't even make no money today. I just been in here all day. And after a while, it was no longer a hobby. So I said, something has to change. And that's why I just decided to mix only. Because when you send me something to mix, there's a deposit, there's a fee. I'm by myself. I mix it. I send it to you. You give me your feedback on it. You send it back. I make some tweaks if you need them. And then we're done with the record.
Nice.
And,
okay.
I can mix out of different studios, but I pretty much do everything from where I'm at. Even when I do live shows, I bring stuff home and mix it sometimes post, depending on what I'm trying to use it for.
That goes into my next question. What so we know the area that we're in, the DMV area. Everybody's a rapper. Very, there's a couple of musicians. All the musicians are well known because they all hang out in the same circle. But everybody's got hoop dreams or wants to be a rapper, which is fine. Look, if some people are good, and I know you probably know a lot of people are Mark. Not unmarked, right? Mm-hmm. But what's the typical like fees for mixing? Like what do you charge for mixing? Is it hourly? Is it per song?
Yeah, it's typically per song. You'll pay between $300 and $500 a song to have it mixed by myself right now, and that just depends on how much work I have to do. If there's no editing at all, and I have to do all of your editing, then that's along the higher cost. If there's you need to start adding a bunch of stuff, animation and so forth and so on to your record. Like let's say you want sound effects and you trying to get different things brought in. It just depends on how much work I have to do. Now that's current day. When studios were like hot on fire before I probably even got in the game, late 90s, you were paying $1,500, $2,500, $3,000 a song, if not more. I know people was getting $7,000 for a song to turn it around and put backgrounds on it too, and then so, and that's why the industry was booming like it was. But everybody knows now, it's digital. It's no special gear for real. Everybody could get a computer with Pro Tools, Logic, Studio One, Cubase, all that stuff, and it's kind of getting the ballpark. So a lot of the technical stuff is cut out of it, and a lot of the caring about the music is cut out of it now. It's just like it's put together too careless.
Yep. Go ahead, CB.
Recording now is not what a recording used to be. Like I get some stuff to mix sometimes, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I hear 5 kids in the background, the heaters, birds chirping. Like there's no but I'm supposed to mix it though. It's like, okay, all right, you go to get that fixed.
Give me radio ready.
Yeah. But I don't have no money either though. So give me radio ready. I don't have no money, and this is what I got. And I get it. I get the grab, but the engineer has to be respected. It has to be respected. I did real quick while we talk about the engineer being respected. I did Bethesda Blues and Jazz the other night for Serious Company, and it was Let It Flow, Serious Company, and Vibe. And all 3 of the engineers, it was me, Will that mixed Vibe, and it was Rick Logan that mixed Let It Flow. We were all in the downstairs eating. And the promoter came in. We didn't know him. He said, "Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all with the band?" We said, "No, we the sound engineers for each band." And this dude said, "Oh yeah, we need y'all. Y'all important." That was the first time in a long time that we were appreciated the sound engineers. Otherwise, it's just like, hey, man, you the guy, fix it.
Man, shout out to Rick, man. I know Rick. I did some stuff at his crib back when we were doing some serious, trying to do some stuff. But yeah, shout out to Rick. I ain't seen Rick in a minute though. Go ahead, CB.
Mark, my question for you is, when you're talking about everyone has access to a lot of the same technology, a lot of the same programs and all that stuff, what are you able to do to kind of separate yourself from all of the clutter?
In my opinion, you have to, customer service is number one. So getting back to your clients on time, being professional, being fair. And when I say being fair, even when I do stuff live and installs, there's a margin between this price and this price that you'll always get. You won't hear, because I found out you had $500,000, that I'm charging you $7,500. There's a service. If I'm doing mixing versus programming, there's a price for programming. Programmers make a lot of money. When you get into programming, everybody can't do that. So you have a price margin that you can set. But on top of that, from an engineering standpoint, you have to be able to hear. Like, working all of those trinkets doesn't mean a thing if you can't hear it. And you can't see it and assume that it's right because you're looking at it either. So you can't mix with your eyes. You got to mix with your ears.
Yep.
I hear a lot of stuff from a lot of people, and I probably did this when I was younger and learning too, but it's not what it's supposed to be, but for some reason it's acceptable. And that may be because a lot of stuff sounds like that, so our ears are conditioned.
Somebody told me, I'm not gonna cut you off, course. This is just a quick comment, and he can say yes or no. Somebody told me a while back, never trust an engineer that mixes with the speakers turned all the way up. Is there facts to that?
Yes. Facts and, I guess, opinion, because a lot of people may say, show me the fact, but if you can't hear everything extremely low, like you are sitting in your office and you're not supposed to be listening to music, then there's a problem with the mix.
That makes so much sense to me.
Mixing has. Okay, I'm glad you asked that, because we're talking about levels and volume and decibels. So mixing has nothing to do with how loud you are, and that's one common issue right now in the go-go industry. Everybody assumes you have to be loud. I mix different than, if I had to say, at least 95% of the people, but you can. And this is from feedback that I get from people. This isn't just me saying it. Although I know for a fact to myself it's true because I do it. But if you come in there and clean stuff up and separate things and put them where they're supposed to be, the way I mix shows, it could be unappreciated for the go-go because it's not as big of a sound, it's bass heavy, and and I can give you that, but my ultimate goal is you hired me for a reason, and that's because you like the way I mix, and what I'm giving you is different. We sound like the record when we're playing. We don't sound over cluttered, over bassy, muffled, muddy. We sound like I'm looking at that guy playing that note and I can hear him playing that note. Because otherwise he could have stayed home.
Go ahead, E.
That's a good point.
So the question I have for you, Mark, and I preface this off of like kind of building into this everybody else's question, right? Which is, what is one of the biggest misconceptions of a engineer that's on both maybe the artist side compared to the actual industry side? Like, what do you think seems to be like the narrative? Because the engineer really started, to be honest with you, right? The producer, but the engineer kind of really started getting love when you started hearing about the Dre's and more like the backstories of how people were engineering the songs that we hear today, and understand like what they had to do to make it what it was. Because they might hear the actual version of what it was before it got mixed up, and you realize like, well, damn, the engineer actually kind of made it what it was outside of everything else. What's the biggest misconception as an engineer that you hear in the industry that you know of?
I think it'll be assuming that the engineer is just going to do something the way you think it should be done, or that he's going to put it exactly where you want it based on You just giving it to them. A lot of people in the industry don't know how to communicate. So it's like, oh, he's the engineer, he'll fix it. Or he, like for me, somebody could say, okay, well, why don't you just listen to the artist? Well, that helps, but you're still a different engineer than that engineer that mixed the record. So you may put what people call the down south mix on there, where you have it's a little not cluttered, but it's more like glued together, like everything kind of sits together. Where like the up north mixes, you hear more of like a vocal versus you hear the track hitting, but you hear like a cleaner vocal. Um, and so like I think it's like assuming that the engineer is going to just get it all taken care of for you, so to speak, without conversing. I think that's where a lot of people get clients that they had and they lose them, or somebody gets a song mixed 100 times. He didn't really mix it like I thought he should have. But there was no conversation or about how to get your record the way you wanted it until you mixed it, and then they send you notes, and then now you're mixing it 4 or 5 times. But it shouldn't start like that.
My bad, I was on mute. Yeah, they just hand you the track. Say, here, do it, right?
Right.
So we got a couple questions. So the first one from A. is, when you say mix with your ears, do you have a metronome as well when you mix for the beat?
No, it depends. Like, if I'm mixing something that's already locked in time wise, like, are you asking about the metronome for purposes of adding like delays or something so that you can make sure those are on time? Or because otherwise, no. I'm when I'm saying mix it with your ears, I'm saying like, what tone does a kick drum have? What tone does a snare have? What tone does a certain size snare drum have? How are toms supposed to sound? Where should a vocal sit? Sometimes it's EQ and sometimes it's volume and actual level. Sometimes it's getting something out of the way of something else and not even EQing the thing that you wanted to sit in that place. You just had to make space for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I guess they came in late. So, what type of engineer are you?
I mix all genres of music. If you're asking about am I genre specific, um, yeah, I guess unless I'm misunderstanding the question. Yeah, I don't mix a specific genre of music. I've done all genres of music, and I'll step on any stage and mix any type of band or any type of act or DJ or anything. I just feel that confident in the knowledge of what music is supposed to sound like, um, that I don't have a particular genre of music that I mix.
She says, in general, for instrumentation. I guess you kind of did answer the question. So again, I got two questions. I'm trying to get all mine knocked out for we transition, since I got some good questions here. For those that don't know, after you mix the record, are the records considered? Is there still a stage of mastering after mixing? Mixing and mastering the same thing?
No, it's a different stage. So, and that's a common misconception. At least this is the way I understand it, for the level of professionalism that I feel like I've reached. So, when you're mixing a record, you're supposed to have all of the tracks tracked out. If you can see these tracks behind me and these lines behind me, all of those lines is a different instrument on the track, right?
Yeah.
So, in your mixing process, you're putting those where they need to be in the mix, or where you feel like they should need to be in the mix. If you're mixing a record for a drummer, maybe his drums are heavier than everything else is on the record because he's the main artist. If you're mixing a band like a Snarky Puppy or something where it's just a bunch of people, but everybody has parts, then you got to do a lot of automation, and getting things where you need them to sit. Um, so I think it's a collaboration of a few things. And repeat the question one more time so I can make sure I answer the
I was saying, is mixing and mastering the same thing? If not, what's the different stages?
Right, and then mastering. So on the mastering end, that's typically taking a group of audio. So let's say 1 track to 10 tracks, right? You got to put them all on a record together. So they have to transition properly. The tone of the record has to be set properly. The seconds between the start of track 3 coming out of track 2 has to be considered, because you could get mixes from 10 different engineers, but somebody has to glue it all together, and that's pretty much what the mastering process is.
Yep. We'll go to the comments again. You got some. Eric Tomlinson wants to know, what's your favorite music to mix?
Instrumentation wise, gospel.
Dope.
It's the gospel musicians. If gospel musicians were to cross over a little, and this, okay, so I'll give you London on the Track, for example. I believe he's started in church, if I'm not mistaken, playing the keys, and you can hear on Summer Walker's records a total different level of production than most records would be for someone that would be considered to be starting off where she started off. It's not like she came out the gate with mediocre tracks. They came out the gate with heat.
Mm-hmm.
They came out the gate with fire. So yeah, I think a lot of the gospel musicians are just super talented. Now I like mixing rap and hip hop as well, but it has to be for a solid artist with some type of content, because I have to be interested in a record for me to give it my best. I believe I think I have to have some type of interest in it. Otherwise, I don't think I'm gonna feel it or receive it properly. Like sometimes I have people send me stuff and I listen to it and like, I don't think I'm gonna be the best for this project for you.
That's real. That's real.
I'd rather do that than send them back something, and they might love the mix, but it's like to me it's bigger than just like getting the money. And like I feel like I've mixed some stuff that just didn't come to me right, or just didn't leave from me right, and I'm like, you know what? Don't even put my name on that one. Like this, this just it's not the one.
Right. So. Go ahead, CB. I'll do my next question last. Go ahead.
I appreciate you, man. Mark, when you were early in like the live recording or the live mixing, was there a particular show or something that stands out where you remember afterwards, or maybe even during you were like, yo, this is it. Like, this is a lot of fun. This is what I want to do. Is there any moments like that stand out from early in it?
Yeah, so 2000, maybe 7 to maybe 10, I would say probably, maybe 11. I was a sound engineer for Ibiza nightclub. So I got to mix everything that came through there. So that was like
that's dope.
I was already in the game and I didn't even realize it. I was in the national game and I didn't realize it. And at that time it was 38 now. It's 2021. Yeah, so you talking like late 20s.
Yep.
So it was like, and I didn't go after it, so to speak. Like, so at one point I was trying to sell tracks and emailing everybody's manager. I was in the game. I was trying to get on, mixing for this person, trying to do this. But when I got that gig, I didn't realize that everything I was chasing it came to me, because I was the engineer at the club. So I didn't even have to go out for the artists anymore at that time. They had to come to the club and they had to talk to me. They had to get the microphone from me. They had to do the sound check with me. So at that point I was connected. So that was a sweet run.
That's dope.
All right, my last question before Cleo takes over, because he got about 15 of them over there on his notebook, aka his rhyme book as well. But so I find it interesting, especially with music, and one of the questions I like to ask people is, even in the late stages of their profession or their craft, right? What is some of the things that you are still learning? And then what are some of the things that are like kind of, is it like one of those, like a technique that's like an elementary that you always have to remember to, about your craft, about being an engineer? And then, what's the elevation of new stuff coming out compared to what you have to educate yourself with, as far as, kind of staying with what's going on or what sets you aside from everybody else?
Got you. So one thing that to me, it's like you have to do as an engineer. Like, it's not. I guess I'll call it a habit for me. It might be a form of OCD. I'm not sure, but I get to a venue early and I scope it out. So that's just something I do personally. But one thing I think you have to do as an engineer is make sure before you turn anything on that everything is down and that you visually saw that first. There is always something to learn. You know, you're gonna have this venue this way, this venue that way. These speakers sound this way when there's less people in the room, or this is the tone of them. So you're always gonna get that, you know, that technology curve. But some of the basics are visually see what's happening before you just start unmuting and muting stuff. So spinning that into what's the out that you need to learn is digital consoles now are really hot. So you gotta, like, you never know what venue you're gonna walk into and they have this console, that console. So when I say mute and turn everything down, a perfect example of this is on an analog console, you might have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 auxiliaries on a channel where you can turn up a mix. So the mix might be this vocalist mix, this drummer's mix, so forth and so on, right? But you see that physically on the surface right there in front of you on that channel. On a digital console, there's layers and pages. So you might get to a show and this happens. For the record, the guy before you mixed earlier, everything was perfect. And he knows you have a show later that for some reason has an engineering issue with you. He will take routing and spin it all over the place. When you turn that console on, it sounds like the fire alarm went off. So I'm trying to, you have to be in the habit of visually seeing and turning everything down first and starting from scratch. A lot of people do scene recalling from a flash drive. I build scenes on consoles and I still won't recall them on people's consoles. I start from scratch. Wow. I don't trust the industry. And I mean, I like starting from scratch because it helps you sharpen your skill, but I just don't trust the industry enough. So that's something that you got to constantly be sharp on your game. Look at these YouTube videos, go to these websites, learn these consoles, constantly train your ear. For those that have a PC computer, it's something called Simple Feedback Trainer that's available. And it's a 31 band spectrum, and you can hit play on it and it'll send a frequency off until you figure out what it is. So you got to train your ear, because otherwise it's going to be ringing in your ear until you figure out. So once you start going through those, and you do that maybe twice a week, and you do it for a couple of months, you can start walking in the gig and saying, okay, so-and-so is too hot in the building, or this is too hot in the building. Because I tune a lot of rooms for people, and I don't use RTA meters a lot. I use them when I'm done to see how close I was. But you got to train your ear. So you're constantly training your ear. You constantly got to be on time. You constantly got to clear things out and make sure you visually see them. And then things you got to do in repetition is follow the technology. Because a lot of engineers in this area got swept up by the technology. It happened not too fast, but they just didn't get out of their own way. And then when all the sound companies went to digital boards, it was like, whoa. Yeah, a lot of guys got swept up in this area.
That's dope. Okay. This is my last question right here. What is the worst album you've ever heard that was mixed horribly? Does any of them stand out?
Yeah, nah, but I'm gonna be honest. If I had to say what I heard recently that was oddly mixed to me for the caliber artist he's become, is the latest Wale record. I heard a lot of distorting in it. I heard a lot of like compression clips. I heard stuff that's like that I wouldn't have expected to hear. The average person probably doesn't hear it at all. And that may be how the record slipped by. I don't know, or maybe it didn't slip by, but I was a little surprised to hear some of the stuff I heard on it. It wasn't a horrible mix, but I was just surprised to hear some of those things. Because I didn't hear him on his first record or two. And then obviously at that point he was climbing. So, I got to look back and see who mixed them. But I'm sure it wasn't the person that was mixing his bigger records mixing this one. Maybe he gave somebody an opportunity or something. I don't know. I got to look a little more into it, but I was a little surprised from what I heard.
Wow. Dope. All right. Well, as we transition, we want to thank Mark Johnson for joining us from M.A.J. Company, LLC. It's plenty more questions to go around, but we're going to transition. Mark's not done with us yet. So I did give you some homework. And we use this to kind of we gauge everybody on this. It's our top 3. So top 3 movies of all time, top 3 albums of all time. We normally typically start with the movies since the albums kind of get interesting. So what's your top 3 movies of all time?
This was tough, man.
Supposedly.
It was, because when I picked one, I said, nah, that's number 3. Then when I picked the third one, I said, that's number 1. Then I was like, all right. So here it is. Here, I'm sure these aren't the top 3 favorite of all time, but what I'm currently seeing these are is the first Friday is a top for me for sure. The first Bad Boys is a top movie for me for sure. Mm-hmm. And only because, see, I was about to try to put something in there. I'm going to say this one. Menace to Society was a top 3 for me.
Dope.
But if I had to take one of those back, I want to throw even something as odd as like Jurassic Park was a top movie for me in there. It's the
very first one.
Yes, the very first one. I have a few movies that were like, that's a solid movie.
That's dope. Yeah, we do that to get different, because we know we're gonna get different answers. There's a couple repeats. Like Coming to America has always been.
It's a lot.
It's a repeat. Yeah. Okay, let's do the albums.
All right, so Biggie, Life After Death.
Yep.
I'm saying Scarface, but I can't even give you a favorite album. M.A.J.
Scarface has some dope ones.
Too many.
Right. And I know things shift as you get older.
The diary is kind of tough. Okay, so all right. So now let me go with the third one. It's tough. It might be the Blueprint album by Jay-Z. Might be.
Okay. Solid albums.
But it's so many of those too, and I like them all for different reasons. I like some of them because of the producers that was on them at the time.
Mm-hmm. I
got a gazillion Jill Scott records I like, but I kind of wasn't thinking of her when I was talking about these right now. It's too many.
That's a lot. Yeah,
I honestly like. I think I probably fight with that the most. Like, what's my favorite XYZ? Because if I had it my way, I would just pick like a song from all of them, which I do, and just put them in like a playlist.
Right, and I guess that's what It's always interesting to hear what people's mindsets are. I mean, because we know it all. If you could give someone actually that same question a year from now, it's not going to be those 3. Like, it's just wherever your mindset is, or just what you're feeling at the time. Like, I know if I did my top 3, it may be at least one that's going to stay consistent, and then the other 2 will fluctuate. But next month, we do our wrap-up show where we do top 5 albums of the year. And this year, I mean, for music, was an absolute like smoker for albums. There's a lot, and Silk Sonic coming in at the end of the year didn't help, me narrow down my top 5, because that's a really good album. Hell, Adele coming in late too I wasn't expecting it to be. I knew it was gonna be a couple heaters on there, but I wasn't expecting me to listen to the album front to back like every time I listen to it, because I don't want to skip these records.
Right, and see, that's tricky too, because my top 3 albums may not be by my top 3 favorite artists.
That's
facts.
Like,
New ones.
Albums are hot, but that don't mean that my top 3 favorite artists I even made those albums. So
the first Devin the Dude album changed my life. Yeah, that stays consistent for Eric. Eric always talking about the first Devin the Dude album.
Yep.
Now, see, I'll be honest with you. That's one of my favorite artists. He did not even cross paths in my top 3 just now, but that doesn't mean that every album he has to me is a favorite album. But I don't know. I just didn't put him in the top 3 of those albums.
I got you. Yeah, it's meant to be difficult. Was not meant to be difficult. Look, order DC Shop Pie. Look, Mark. I don't know if you had DC Shop Pie yet. If you're a big Chicago deep dish pizza fan, black-owned business. They're in the DMV. They are off of Marlboro Pike. They're in the Compare Foods shopping center. The Compare Foods, the old shoppers. They're in there in the bakery.
Grocery store.
There. That's the word. But Grant is a former guest of the show. I mean, DC Shop has the official pizza that We Are Something Else podcast. But save 10% on us. WRC 10 next time you order. But look, let me check, Mark, if you haven't seen any of these pizzas, look. So they got the steak and cheese, they got the salmon pesto, and then they got your basic like sausage and pepperoni right there, deep dish. Amazing. You can see how thick those pizzas are right there. And
like 6 inches.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like, look, and if you don't like deep dish pizza or you want to try dessert, they got the drop the bomb bread pudding. I mean, all these things are an homage of DC. So they got the Georgetown, which is a tribute to the Euro. Then they got the Big Chair, the Southeast Big Chair, which is fried chicken and mambo sauce pizza. These joints are amazing, by the way. They are closed on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. They will be open for Saturday, and I think they are open Sundays for football season. But other than that, they are typically Tuesday through Saturday. Okay. And again, DC Shop Out, official pizza. We have something else podcast. Save 10%, WRC 10. All right. And now this. All right, Mark. So if you didn't know anything about E, you're about to learn a lot about E right about now during his Is It Just E segment. It's probably where the show, we kind of divide our opinions after E states what he has to state. Go ahead, E.
So again, Mark, I appreciate you being on. I'll just give you a heads up. Eric Facts, Westside Gunner has dope ass albums. But real quick, so this segment again, they've allowed me the small time to piss most of our fellow guests off, as well as the people in the comment section, because I just have a opinion that I feel like a lot of people don't want to own up to. The hottest one, of course, is that I truly believe that lemon pepper wings are trash, and a lot of people just have recently got on them, and if it wasn't for Rick Ross, nobody would be eating lemon pepper wings at all. So again, the ratio of lemon to pepper just don't always hit right. So but this segment, because we are the week of if you will, the Turkey Day, had to come up with something for the theme. And last year, as Cleo was alluding to, I did sides, right? And last year I had identified that the dressing or your stuffing was the weakest side dish of Thanksgiving possible, right? Because it can't stand by itself. Like, you got to add something with it. You got to throw the gravy on there, or you got to put the cranberry sauce on, whatever it is. It's the weakest link of the side dish. But it got me thinking, right? Because you can't always do food, and we all know everybody has a different setup as far as the foods that they eat during Thanksgiving. This year is a little different. This year I'm gonna go with, is it just E, or was actually sitting at the kid table a hell of a lot better than when you had to eventually sit at the adult table? Because I'm thinking, as a kid, you didn't have no worries. You didn't have nobody checking for you. You didn't have to sit there and listen to your auntie talk about whoever, or your drunk ass uncle bringing the girlfriend that nobody remember her name. Like, all the nuances of like the family business was like held at the adult table. At the kid table, you had no worries. you was over there sneaking extra Capri Suns or whatever the case may be. The kid table was actually more popping than the adult table. So is it just E? But the kid table was probably the best place to be when it came to Thanksgiving.
CB, you want to tackle that first?
Yeah, he's hit the nail on the head with this one. The kid table, when we were sold a lie. If we're gonna be honest, we were sold a lie. We thought growing up was gonna be dope. We thought it was gonna be nothing but sneakers and ice cream. We didn't realize that it came with bills and responsibilities and all this other stuff. So we wanted to get to that adult table. We really did. We didn't realize that in those moments when we were at the kid table, no responsibilities, all we were doing was eating real quick so we could go right back to playing, doing whatever it was that we were doing. Those are the days that you think back on. So kid table was where it's at for sure.
Yeah, you might be onto something right here, E. Trust me, I remember sitting at the table with my cousins, and conversations typically around video games and or the turkey bowl earlier in the day, you know. And now, the adult table's not that fun. Now you got to hear about, why whatever old person can't eat this because their gout will flare up, or one more
Not
plate,
the gout.
one
Not
more
the
plate,
gout.
and I'm gonna be in the bathroom for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Then there's like the unbuckling of like the pants, or the undoing the snap. Like that's that this is very overrated. I mean, I've been at the adult table for a couple of years now, and it's nah. But I'll tell you what does suck: being an adult and there's no more seats at the adult table, and you have to go sit at that small fucking table with the kids. That's just that's degrading. But it happens sometimes. Or when they give you like the little TV tray that wobbles, and like a chair that's way taller than that, and there's two of y'all eating at the table. So that, yeah, I'm just saying that's happened before. Go ahead, Mark.
Sounds like some struggle meals right there.
Yeah.
Nah, I would agree with that. The kids table, you were just so free at the kids table. Like you said, either you were just coming from playing, or you had to eat real quick so they wouldn't let you go play. But other than that, you didn't really have no worries. You could throw your plate away and not get questioned, or not feel funny for throwing it away because the
nobody's paying attention at that point. Yeah.
The kids table was smooth, and you was always plotting at the kids table. Who house you gonna spend the night over?
There you go. There you go.
So now
it is.
Try to get out of there now and go home, or go to the next spot as an adult. You ain't the adult table, like you said, it sucks.
Yeah, because you got to drive. Like adults got to drive home at that. The kids don't have to drive home. They ain't got no worries. The itis is setting in, and nobody paying attention. The kids back there, whatever, playing games and stuff. Quintuple says, "FUE kid table didn't have whiskey till I was 12."
Quintuple with the classic interjection.
Yeah.
Shout out to Quintuple.
Shout out to him. Thank you for watching. They're on the road now, heading to I think North Carolina for Thanksgiving. All right, where are we at now? There we go. All right, CB. I know there's a catch line I'm supposed to say. I'm gonna be honest. I think I got it. We're gonna shoot for it. All right, CB. What you got for the soul swap? Because it's always good for the soul. Was that it?
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll keep implementing it. We'll.
All right, I ain't done that about. My bad. I can cut you off, CB. My bad. We can get back to business. We're going in overtime. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. So for Soul Swap, which is our segment where we just go over some of the stories that are going on in the sneaker industry, and this is one of the ones that's, this will tug on the heartstrings. So, young man here suffers from Duchenne and muscular dystrophy, and with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, got to design his own Fly Ease Air Jordan 1. And so it was like a really cool gesture, something that you know you can kind of take for granted, just the impact that sneakers can have on somebody's life. And when you think about what the Make-A-Wish Foundation stands for and what they're supposed to represent, for this kid to have, he could basically choose anything, and for him to choose, hey, this is something that I want. His family got kitted out. um it's something that it makes you feel good. And so I don't know if you guys were hip to this story at all, but this is something that I saw this week that it stood out, and something that I felt deserved to be spotlighted. And I think it really just show you the impact that sneakers can have on just the everyday person and how they can make people feel.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's a good feel good story. I know that Nike did the custom shoe for people who had muscular dystrophy, where it's just kind of like a snap arch. Put your foot in and it just snaps in place for you.
Yep.
No tie, no laces or nothing necessary. I think that's going to be the wave of kind of what's coming. I mean, you got to consider everybody that's a sneakerhead necessarily isn't, walking around. Some people are confined to wheelchairs. So you got to think about that. And I think this is the great opportunity. The fact that this kid was able to get a pair of custom Jordans, considering the situation.
Yeah.
Mark.
I had to come off me. I hadn't heard about the story. Definitely dope. I mean, you just never know what folks' wishes are, or what they actually, wanted to do in life. And sometimes it's just really odd, the things that bring them to be able to do what their dream is. But that's unfortunately a part of life. You don't want to go through anything just to be able to experience something. But I guess in reality, that's the way that it goes every day. Sometimes it's just not something drastic that you went through.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think outside of like the kid itself and his story, I think what it does well is like that family, you know what I'm saying, understanding what they have to undertake in that situation of, trying to get a certain shoe or something that's at least going to be comfortable for them to wear. And like you said, if Nike can take this on and kind of utilize that and have that affordable or something where they can only, get those. Because I remember then they come out with the Nikes that you just when you put your foot in, they automatically just snapped on the back of your heel. And they even did a story where they was like, they all sold out. And the people that actually would benefit from them can't even get them because they think it's more of a fashion thing than it is an actual mobility, accessibility thing that they need. So, but I think more so, like, if you think about it, the hardship that sometimes comes with the family. So you realize like how much good that did for like the mom and the dad and especially the siblings, you know what I'm saying, to understand that what they see through their brother or their son every day kind of help them in that moment as well, so that they can kind of, use that energy to help out and just kind of keep pushing on and knowing that somebody is paying attention to them. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yep.
All right, CB, what we got for that copper drop this week?
So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this shoe before, but these are the Air Jordan 11s in the cool gray colorway, and you may have heard, but it is their anniversary, 20 years, I believe, and so they're coming back, and this is a Jordan model that there's plenty of people that'll say the 11 is arguably the greatest of all time, and the cool grays rank up there with the silhouettes. But unlike any other Jordan, this shoe has a specific tie to this podcast. And so before we even get into, how much they cost, anything, it's an automatic cop. It doesn't matter. The attempt is coming. But really, I want Kaleo to talk about this shoe and why it's. Him and E can actually talk about why it's actually special to the podcast.
And Quintuple in the chat. Oh, he said, "Oh, I'm ready." There he is. Mark, if you had the opportunity at these, you copping or dropping?
I like them. I don't necessarily like the color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I don't really remember all the numbers of the shoes, but I think I got some of those with just a different color, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I like the style. I like the way the tongue ties up, and it has just enough color contrast even in these. But when you get the different ones, they have the different, the black on them or the red on them. Like all of them. I like the shoe itself. I don't know if I'm a fan of just having all gray ones though.
Gotcha. These were kind of like a late kind of thing, like where when he was with the Wizards, he just did like a one-off, and then people went crazy over him. Go ahead, E, you copping or dropping?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather just talk about the fact that they kind of did like a quick drop of these when we got wind that they were actually being dropped again, and they literally just was like, oh, by the way, 9 a.m. here's a quick drop, and like it was just crazy, mass hysteria. You already know the answer, CB and Cleo. You know the answer to this. I'll take my time.
I knew I'd be cool eventually. I knew I'd be cool eventually. That's what Quintuple says. All right, so this is a cop for me, just because. Yeah, I would love to wear them. But anyway, so let's get into the story. And Mark, I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I told you an hour and a half. So let me do I need to dim the lights or anything? No. So anyways, okay. Let me go full screen. So, and this will lead to shoe and tell. I'll go first for shoe and tell. There we go. Okay, so again, I think these were last pressed out years ago. Like they did a run, like a quick rerun of them, and then they were, highly sought after. So anyways, so during my wedding, like I wasn't planning on, I didn't know, we were just going to do regular shoes, whatever. So, but my pops is in a position kind of close, he's close to a good source around that area, around that company. And he was like, what do you want? I'm gonna try to ask for something for you. What do you want? And we were like, I don't know. I was thinking, hey, Space Jams. Those were the ones that did. But then my brother made a good point. My brother was like, nah, do the cool grays. It would match gray, all this and all that. So okay, whatever. So, Pops was working close to somebody, and he was. If you know my pops ain't afraid of much. He'll get it out. But I think he told me he was a little nervous to ask because he was just kind of, he doesn't like asking for much. He just want to get in, do his job, and get out. Okay, but I guess word had gotten around it. He wanted to talk to this person about something, and it was like, I heard you want to ask me something. What you want to ask? It's like, well, my son, is getting married. He wants, he was wondering if he try to get, some cool grays. He's like, well, that person, but they had to stop. We haven't ran those in a while, and it probably won't. But I tell you what, give me a minute. We'll make something happen. So then apparently my dad gets a call and was like, "Look, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do, but I got a call from somebody saying stop whatever we're doing at the time and tend to you, give you whatever you need and whatever you want." And he was like, "Okay, cool." So this leads into shoe and tell. I guess I need to go full screen, right? So, can you is the light blocking that, CB? Oh, it's my green screen. Wait a minute. Where we at? Can you see the name on the box?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it now.
All right, so it's going to Eric Kuna here. Promotion. Most stickers don't say that, and it's got a date of 7/18. Was that 2014? Yeah. So technically, they don't do that. But on the inside of that is a pair of cool grays, only worn once Only touched the ground once. Never worn again. Wore my wedding. Bottoms aren't even. I mean, if I wore them now, they probably fall. Oh, they might not fall apart. The glue is probably still good. But that's why I say I would do a cop, because I would rather have a pair that I could actually wear. I decide to wear, instead of these just sitting there just for, story purposes,
sentimental purposes.
You gotta put those in a glass case.
I'm going to. I keep saying I'm gonna get a glass case once I get this room together. But that's my shoe and tell. E was there. E got a pair, and then Quatapo in the comments was probably going crazy right now. Say something. Mine got the same thing. Mine's still in the box. Mine's still in the box. Wore 4 times so far. As he wore his, the Speedy's wedding too. Okay, Mr. K. Hey, shout out to Shakia. What's up? Yeah, Mr. K. That would be the guy who made it all happen.
He reminds everyone of this too.
Mine hit pavement because someone left me something in the damn. That's funny. All right, who's up next? Oh, first of all, hold on, Mark. Did you bring? No, I guess we'll ask if you want to go first or last. Did you bring any shoes to spotlight? If not, that's fine.
Because look, this is why I was like, I would get those. Look what I got right here.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Right on time. Right on time, bro.
Yep.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like the different colors in them and the different styles of all of like there's some different little things that I like about Jordan's period. But I mean, like I said, that those right there, I just wouldn't do the all grays if I had to go pick a color.
I got you. CBE.
I can go.
You know, CB bringing up the
okay. Bring up the rear.
And I know he does. But this so everybody, well, not everybody, but CB and Cleo know this story. Random work day, and when it's kind of slow, you venture off to the what they call it, the resource page, right? Like your employment resources. And within the employment resources, you find nuances of shit that your company has access to that you probably would have been like, man, how the hell would I have known that, right? So I ventured off, and Nike was one of them, and I'm thinking it's probably on some basic, clothes, regular shoe, some trainers. But I sent them a picture of a drop that hadn't come out in the States yet, but that was available all the way overseas. I believe it was in Saudi Arabia. I think that's what it was. I think that's where it was. Because I did not get the win, which made sense that I would have pulled the trigger, and I ended up getting the actual royalty from
classic box.
From the damn resource page.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It couldn't have came out any better. The fact that they actually now again, I had to even research what the size was over there that was contempt to like the 9. But yeah, the box came intact, and funny enough, they actually came like 2 days after the royalties actually dropped, and I was just like, I gotta hold on to these, and of course I checked, but yeah, it's a little different. I still kind of like
from those in the taxis is what the gold.
Yeah, so so this has a little bit more gold. As far as like on the 2-3 that's written down there, the gold that's on the side. And yeah, but ultimately, again, they came with the white pair of shoestrings, but probably leave the black in there just to kind of give it that offset in the way that the back is. It's got the gold lettering on the back written on there.
Yeah, see, y'all better than me. I don't I've been in war those joints. I don't have no shoe boxes or nothing no more. Now, if I was a collector, or I was trying to sell them, maybe, yeah. Man, you ain't catching no shoe boxes in my career. I'll be wearing my joints to take the trash. I'll be just careless, man.
Well, not all the sneakers in the collection are created equal. We know that. Yeah. Yes. You got the everyday joints, and you also got like some of the nice stuff that's still everyday. It's just it just is what it is. I did not bring Jordans to the party. But
you got so much other stuff, CB.
Of
course you did. I knew that was coming.
But I did bring something that's gray. These are the astronaut gray Billionaire Boys Club HUNMDs.
Dope.
So Adidas.
Dope.
I don't know why I hear the Star Trek reference.
Trek.
Yeah, I just hear it. I just hear it in the background every time he brings the shoe out. Just Star Trek.
And they did come. It's like a pink set of alternate laces.
That's dope.
But yeah, I mean, I think I haven't tried them on yet to see how comfortable the prime knit upper is and everything. But I like the HUNMDs and y'all, I talked about them when we put these up for Copper Drop last week. That one of my favorite collabs over the last couple of years was what Billionaire Boys Club did with Reebok. So you knew anytime Pharrell and Nigo do anything, it's gonna be something that catches my attention. So got to check for it.
I still want the NERD ones, but those are gonna be hard to find.
The original ones, yeah.
As we get ready to wrap up, man, look, Mark, we want to thank you for joining us tonight, brother. I know we went just a little bit over. I don't know if you had a bedtime or something you wanted to do, but we appreciate you sticking it out with us. Black Business Series, Mr. Mark Johnson. Where can everybody find you? Like, let's get all your social media in there, or the easiest way to find you, man.
Oh, man. So I'm on Instagram at M.A.J Company LLC. Email is audio.mark@majcompanyllc.com. I don't have Facebook. I got off Facebook like 10 years ago, and I probably wouldn't even be on Instagram, but use it for what it's worth.
Ahead of the game.
If you got any questions, feel free to inbox me, email me. I don't know everything in the world, but I'm always about sharing knowledge. I can't do anything holding it all to myself. Me telling you something don't take no food out of my mouth. It don't take no gigs away from me, so it is what it is.
We were rapping a couple of weeks ago. I definitely got to come out to one of those Serious and Company shows.
Tomorrow, man, it's us, Vibe, and Junkyard at the Hampton. What is that drink called? It's the Hampton Conference Center, right off Central Avenue.
Really?
You definitely got to be plugging that. Say that. Okay. Tell everybody that again.
Hampton Conference Center tomorrow night. It starts at 9 p.m. It's Serious Company, Vibe, and Junkyard.
Ooh.
Then on Friday at the Hard Rock Cafe is Serious Company and Vibe. So.
Still. Okay.
We get it in, man. And I do a lot of stuff for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Normally on Thursdays, I'm out with a guy named Damo that has a band called YML and Friends. So
I seen you plug them too.
This Thursday, doing anything. Actually, Eric came out last week. Eric was in the building.
Eric Tomlinson.
Yeah. James was in the building.
See, we got that plug.
Yeah.
I just hung out with you for the fight, but yeah, we gotta. I'm definitely gonna reach out and come out to one of these joints because
for Eric, Kenny, and James, if y'all was hiding from y'all girls that night or something, man, my bad, man.
It was a different Eric, Kenny, and James. It wasn't that Eric, Kenny, and James. Since we plugged it
was ETJ, some other guys.
There you go. We're gonna plug some stuff. Look, me and CB came out with a single a while back. I don't know if you heard it, all the way to Aspen, but it's out there for people to go grab, listen to. And then last week, me and Sean Xavier, Sean dropped a single and I kind of did a feature on it. It's out there, so people haven't listened to it, go check it out. It's on Bandcamp. That's it, man. Look, we appreciate your time, Mark. Everybody who watch, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's all I can think of, man. Look, everybody, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you guys again next week at Thursday. All right, y'all. Stay in the room real quick, Mark. We got something else.
Peace.